Hey guys, it's me, Miss Husky, and this particular video today we are going to talk about AVL. That's the Alabama Virtual Library, for those of you who don't know. If you've never been through an AVL lesson with me, then you're in for a real treat because databases are so exciting. Just kidding. Um, the way in which you search AVL can be a little bit daunting for students simply because it doesn't search the same way that Google does. And it kind of freaks you out a little bit, but that's okay because guess what? I've got some tips and tricks. So hold on to your hats because here it comes. So, if you remember from yesterday, the way that you get to the Assembly page is when you go to the Bob Jones website, click on Academics, and then go over here to where it says Library Links. Here's our Assembly web mix. Yes, we have that information in that folder from yesterday, but today I'm going to the Research Resources folder, and the very first little tile that you see is AVL. So go ahead and click on AVL. We're going to select high school because, well, we're in high school. Now, there's a lot of databases here. And so to kind of narrow that search, we're actually going to click here in this yellow toolbar on current events. So that narrowed all those databases down to what? 6. We're going to use opposing viewpoints today. This one is a great little resource for you guys. Of course, it's one of the Gale databases. So if you click up here where it says sign in with Google, then that's how we're going to save all of our stuff. We're going to save it all in our Google Docs folder. So here we go. You can do a little quick search here, or you can look at some of the issues. So if you look right here where it says national debate topics, prisons, that's actually one of those topics. So from here, you've got the different types of information that you could have. Look, there's images if you're doing that part, but we're going to look at viewpoints right now. So there's 291 hits for viewpoints. To narrow it down just a little bit more, I'm going to filter my results. So over here on this right-hand side where it says subjects, if you click on subjects, let's look at prisoners' rights. There's quite a few resources in that particular folder. So right here, let's say that we were going to do something that had to do with, women inmates. So here in that same little section where it says to filter your results, if you click on search within, we could type in a keyword. Maybe our keyword is women. Okay, so all of these resources, now we've got 12 of them that will show that's how we've narrowed it all down. We can sort by relevance, that's the default, or we can look at the articles that are actually the newest articles. And it looks like the newest articles that we're going to have anywhere is these two from 2016. So, Scary's explanation, female prisoners should receive gender-specific attention. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, so you've got your information up here. You've got the commentary. Now, this part is the part that I absolutely love. As you read, consider these questions. So for every article that you click on in opposing viewpoints, the Scale database, you've got like 3 questions, 3 points that you really want to kind of think about and consider while you're reading. So you actually have kind of a reason for reading. So these are higher order thinking questions. They kind of help direct your paper and the angle that you're going to use. So this one is, according to the author, how do female prisoners differ from male prisoners? And so that's a valid point. So what you're going to do is you can go through and you can answer these questions in your head. You can do one of my favorite things is I like to use a keyboard shortcut, the Control F, or if you're on a Mac, it's Command, and search for specific keywords. So let's say our keyword is women. So we've got 24 hits up here. So I see that here. All of the hits are highlighted in yellow. So let's say that we're reading through and we're looking at these particular keywords, and we want to say that we like this particular line right here. So I'm going to select this entire sentence, okay, this entire sentence. And when I let go, I've got this pop-up window. Now it's changed just a teensy bit, okay? So the color that I'm going to choose is, I'm going to use pink because girls like pink and I'm a girl and I like pink. My keyword that I did my Control F or Command F search for, I'm going to type in all caps. And then after here, it's like before you used to have to go and select notes to annotate and save. Now it just automatically does it. I like this part. This takes a little step out. So this is where you're going to type in some notes, some annotations, things that are going to help you remember why in the world you highlighted that particular quote. Now, because it has a save button, you know what you do, save it. So you can go through and look at some more and say, okay, I like this particular quote too. So I'm going to highlight the text. I'm going to highlight the entire sentence. I'm going to highlight it the same color. Why would I highlight the same color? Because it's the same keyword search. Okay. All right, there we go. Save my notes. And so when I'm done with that particular keyword, I can come up here and I can select a different keyword. How about, okay, here we go. So sometimes it takes a little while. And sometimes you have to use some synonyms or different keywords to be able to find what you're looking for. So let's say that I'm looking at this one and I'm like, okay, social scientists. Okay, according to the report, this report, hang on. According to the report, I'm going to get this entire sentence right here. This has got some very important information. Now, keep in mind, I've got a different keyword, so I'm changing my color. And I'm also changing my keyword logo right here. So then put your there and hit save. And you go through, and for every keyword, every point that you want to make, it's a different color. So essentially, you're color coding all of your notes. When you are done looking at that particular article, you're going to come right here at the very top and you see where it has like the little drive symbol. You can click here to send that to your Google Drive. And so it should be in my Google Drive. Now, before I navigate away from this page, I'm going to do something that I want to make sure. I want to make sure that it is in my drive before I move on. Because if I don't, then sometimes, especially with our Wi-Fi here, we have these little glitches. Okay, so let's see. It will create this whole folder. It created that folder for me. So in that folder, my article should be there. Yep, there it is. So if I open this article, if you notice that it is in a Word document, I'm going to open it with Google Docs. This is somewhat new. This was a change that they made last year. So if you see this extension right up here in blue, it says a docx. Well, I don't want it to be a docx. I want it to be a Google Doc. So I'm going to go to File up here, and I'm going to click Save as Google Docs. So it's going to open that file in a new window, and it's going to save it as a Google Doc. And it will save it in the exact same folder. So if I go back to my drive, I should have two articles in that folder. One is a Google Doc, this one, and then the original that was in that Word file. So awesome. I've got all my stuff there, and now I'm ready to move on. Okay. A different way that you can search, I'm just clicking on the Gale. Let's say that she just wanted to do a keyword search on the death penalty. Helps if I spell it correctly. on the death penalty, and I want to do viewpoints. And from here, I want to look at some of the subjects again. I want to kind of narrow this down. There's 184 hits right here. So let's say that I wanted to look at, I don't know, I like this one, wrongful convictions. So now I've got 30 hits there, 30 articles. Always make sure if you're given the option to select full text. Most of these are in fact full text, so see that our number didn't change. But I want to show you a different way to view it. This is for my more visual folks. Under here where it says start the topic finder, let's just click on that link. And you have two ways to visualize. You can use the wheel, that's my favorite, or you can use tiles. I like the wheel because it helps to kind of drill down like it's these outer bands right here. The smaller the band, the narrower the topic. So let's say that we're looking over here and we see, I don't know, what is this, unusual punishment? Interesting. So let's click on that link. Over here on the right hand side, you see these 3 articles that are in that little quadrant right there. And the death penalty is unjust. Arguments against the death penalty are flawed. Capital punishment is morally justified. So you have one opposing and 2 in favor. So when you're talking about balancing your information, you've got all of that information right here. So let's say I'm just going to pick the middle one. I'm not making an opinion here. And again, you can look at the commentary. I can do my keyword search. Let's see if they have anything about women in this one. Okay, there was one. Okay, so let's say let's look for maybe that was something that you were looking at, DNA evidence. Here's my keyword. So here's a quote that I think would look really good if DNA evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight that particular quote just like we did last time. This one is about DNA. So to me, DNA is going to be purple. It can be any color you want to. Oh, well, not any color. It can't be like chartreuse or anything. It's just one of the 6 colors that you have the options for. And then you're going to go ahead and type your notes here and click save. And as you go through this particular article, you're going to do the same thing that we did on that last article. Go through with your keyword searches. You're going to highlight, annotate all of your notes. And then when you are finished, you're going to go back to the top of the article and you're going to click on the Google Drive icon and click OK. And it should be in there. And there it is. Ta-da! Okay, so arguments against the death penalty. That is that article that we just had. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing. Open with Google Docs. As we're waiting, we're going to go back up here to where it says File, because remember we want to save it as a Google Doc. And the reason you're saving it as a Google Doc is 2 reasons. Number one, you can't edit a Word document. So you can't do additional highlights or add additional notes to this document without saving it as a Google Doc. And 2, it's just easier to save it as a Google Doc in your Drive than it is to download it and save it to a home computer and then possibly forget your information. So here's our article, and within the article, there's our highlight. And so where are our notes? Some of you already know the answer to this one. Scrolling all the way to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, you're going to get this little thing, the source citation. It's MLA 8. So this is your citation. If you triple click and copy this to another Word document, that's going to give you your works cited page. That's where you're starting your works cited page. So just underneath that source citation, any highlighted passages and notes that you have will be found here, and they are all color coded. So if I wanted to add additional notes here, I could add additional notes, and it will stay that same color. And so once you've gotten all of your information together, then all you have to do is just copy all of this information and paste it into a brand new Google Doc and format it correctly, of course. And then guess what you're going to do? You're going to write your paper around all of your notes. One of the fail-safe ways to make sure that you don't plagiarize is to go ahead and where it has that text, put some quotation marks there. Come inside the period, put some quotation marks. I'm going to do an open parentheses. That's name's Bedlam, close parentheses, and then my period. And so now I have already cited this particular piece of evidence. So I'm not going to be worried about plagiarizing anymore because it's already cited. Now, I'm definitely not going to use that entire sentence, but the parts that I am going to use will stay within those quotation marks, and it's going to have that little tag at the end where I've got my full citation. So that's today's lesson. That's your AVL lesson for today. I hope that you guys were able to get some good information. Find the little tips and tricks. If you have never seen the highlighting and annotating features of Gale databases before, I'm sure that you were probably kind of like, well, that's pretty cool. I mean, even if it is research, we know, it's okay. The next lesson, we're going to do some citations, but I also want to take you through finding some images, graphic images, maybe a political cartoon or something to that effect, because that is also one of the components that you need for your research project. But there is a special way to cite them, and I want to take you through that, and then we're going to kind of construct your works cited page from there. I've got some tricks for quickly formatting your works cited page. So those of you who've seen it before, you're like, yeah, I got this. That is pretty cool, but I got this. Those of you who haven't, yeah, you're in for a real big treat. So that's all we have for today. Again, if you have any kind of questions or anything that you have pressing that you don't understand, you want clarification, I can do a WebEx. I can do some small groups. You can email me, message me, whatever you need to do. I'm here for you. And I'm here at Bob Jones. I usually just kind of plug into the back room and come out and change clothes for the next day. So just holler at me if you need some help.